Bubba built it.
Today's video, we're going to talk about our trip to Autorama, Detroit, back in February. What year was this? Was it their 53rd?
50 something. They've been doing it a long time.
Maybe I'm getting it mixed up. Anyway, they've been doing the Autorama since 1953, and it's a great car show. It's one of our favorites. I mean, it's
70th. Yeah.
70th. Yeah, it's been a while.
I mean, that's not our first. We're not.
No, it's been a while. So anyway, we went up there at the invitation of Murray Path, the D lot. We'll introduce you to more about that in a little bit. Anyway, when we left that morning, what was the temperature here? It was like, it was very mild, very nice, beautiful weather.
50 degrees, 50, 60 degrees.
Yeah, 60 degrees.
Good old Alabama wintertime.
Yeah, wintertime weather here in good old Alabama. And we got the horse force loaded up on the trailer, started heading up the road, and
the battery was dead on the horse force.
That's right.
Because I was trying to make the interior look a little more presentable, and I think I had left things on the night before, and
it happens.
Yeah, right.
So we had to get a charge box and jump that thing off, and that was well, our Charger had seen some better days.
Yeah, well, that's my fault. I ran over it.
It's pretty sad. It's a little squish thing.
It still works.
Yeah, it did. It did the job. We got it cranked up, loaded up on the trailer, and then up the road we go. Well, anyway, so from there we're going up the road, and
Good old road trip.
yeah, one of the first sights that you see when you're coming from the north down into Alabama is the big Saturn V rocket at the rest stop, and unfortunately they're about to take it down. It's one of the last times that we're ever going to see that at that rest stop, because I guess it's falling apart or something.
Well, yeah. So we took a heartfelt video of that as we went by. And great old 12-hour trip, towing, always fun.
Yeah, and I mean, it was uneventful all the way up until we got to Ohio, and then it was at Dayton, right?
Yeah, they were like, "Are you guys noticed looking at the weather? We stopped at the gas station?" Or
Yeah, and I mean, it was like right through Dayton, there's this line of winter precipitation up above it. So we kind of held out for that overnight there in Dayton, and then went on up the next morning, got into Detroit, and sure enough, man, it was kind of nasty, slick, lots of rain and sleet.
lots of salt and snow and ice on the road.
Yeah, it's pretty nasty. But our friends at Motor City Auto Spa allowed us to park our truck and trailer there, and we decided the best thing to do is just go ahead and go straight there up in Royal Oak, and then unload the horse force.
They also let us use the facility and clean and vacuum it out.
That's right. That's right. We did go ahead and vacuum it out. Typically, we don't do that with our builds. We just,
But yeah, it's a good 15 miles from there to downtown Detroit, and we were really kind of sweating it a little bit because horse force doesn't have any wipers. And if you ever driven up north where there's salt, and I mean the snow is pretty much gone, but there's plenty of salt slush on the road still. And I mean, if you don't have wipers and a squirt and a
you really need a windshield wipe. Yeah.
So we were like, wow, the interstate's not going to work probably, but we ended up doing Woodward.
Yeah, we went right on down Woodward.
Which I had never done. Which is really,
we've done the Woodward Dream Cruise before, and that's fun, but not
it's
the
just a section,
entire.
a little section here, a little section there. We literally took just about the whole
all the way down from Royal Oak
to downtown.
17 miles or something like that. And it was really cool. We went through 8 Mile. We got to see the old Fox Theater.
I didn't realize that 8 Mile was the actual limit of downtown Detroit. Or the city limits.
So that's kind of a weird thing. Detroit is actually a big little city. It's kind of Detroit is so small.
Each road's 4 mile, 5 mile, 6 mile, whatever.
Yeah, that's how
Monday, Wednesday,
Tuesday. So anyway, we made it right on down Woodward, no problems. It was very smooth. It was the right call to do. And we got on into into Cobo. It's called Huntington Place now, but for us,
That's Cobo.
yeah, we're always going to call it Cobo.
Who the heck's Huntington? I
Yeah, I don't know.
Huntington's disease.
I mean, Cobo's getting canceled. He was like the mayor of Detroit, and apparently he made some statements that nobody likes now.
No,
So
it's Cobo. It's
yeah,
just,
it's Cobo. All right. So anyway, as soon as we're getting in, one of the things that we really wanted to do
which is a madhouse, by the way.
oh yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
and did you tell them about we had permission from the guy who was organizing the whole event
Oh yeah.
because we'd come late, and the guy was like, I don't know, I've got the call. I can't remember what his name was now, but
Yeah.
Ken or whatever is like, call Ken. He'll tell you.
Yeah, he's like, oh, the chairman of the show? No, that's no,
And then we.
And then we're like, well,
No,
he
he
comes
left.
over, yeah, okay, so he comes back over, he's like, where are you guys gonna be? And we're like, well, we're in the D lot with Murray Paff. He goes, Murray Paff, why didn't you
Why
say
didn't you
so?
So he had more.
So Murray's got more clout than the
I don't
guy
know about
running
that,
the whole show.
but he definitely, in that case, did. In that case, he got me. The guy was like, why don't you say so? You're just wasting my time, you bunch of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Murray's a good friend of ours. Michael met Murray on Hot Rod Power Tour
On Beale Street.
2014,
Yeah, we parked side. Maybe it's
15.
I don't know, 14 or 15. But anyway, we parked on. They had a special event on Beale, and we ended up parking right next to Murray in the flaming Cadillac.
Yeah.
And we struck up a conversation. We were in the old Monte Carlo, the Earnhardt tribute car.
Yeah.
And from there on, and Murray had already been a customer of ours, so it was really, he was like, hey, I bought from you guys. I was like, well, that's great. And so it started a friendship that we've enjoyed over the years. But Murray is a
Yeah.
very talented designer, and he's done some work for us. And of course, he's been our ambassador to all things Autorama.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And Autorama, Hot Rod Power Tour. He's helped us out with SEMA.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
fantastic guy. And his D lot, he's been working with various charities over the years, and he was telling me that he's raised over $250,000 for charities.
Really good charity.
yeah.
The latest one he's done for 2 years now is the
Make-A-Wish.
Make-A-Wish, which I really have a
Yeah.
fond place in my heart for. They've helped us even with some things, my family. So
Yeah, Make-A-Wish, Michigan, great group, and Murray, of course, was doing that again this year. So anyway, one of the things, as Michael was mentioning, it's a madhouse getting in. I mean, it's like controlled chaos. It's just, I mean, everybody's trying to get in, get their cars parked, get their categories, their credentials, all that stuff straightened out, and get the booths set up, carpet rolled out, all of that. And as we're rolling in, one of the guys from Hot Rod is immediately taking pictures of Horse Force, and that was one of those things that we were just, yes, that's what you want to see. And we were super excited about that. We hadn't even gotten it parked yet, and he was just snapping shots.
yeah, it was Tim, right?
Yeah, Tim, and he did a great write-up on Horse Force for us. So anyway, one of the things that we've always been kind of fascinated with Autorama is, there's a lot going on at this place. There's so many different cars, and they always try to do these sections of some really neat historical pieces.
Yeah, a couple years ago they did all the concept cars.
Yeah, the concept.
Those were really cool.
Those were really, really cool. I mean, all was it all of them?
No,
It was just.
it was a bunch of really.
No. I mean, all the manufacturers. I mean, the big three.
Oh, I don't know about that.
I think it was just GM. Well, anyway, so I think it was just GM that brought out like their concept cars, and that was really cool. And this year they had a couple of different things. They had the Barris
Tribute
cars.
to Barris, yeah.
Yep.
which-
And then and also
legendary.
Big Daddy Roth, Ed Roth. Those were both really cool to see. And one of the things also, there's so many different classifications. I mean, I think it's like 500 different categories and classifications.
Hundreds. I don't know. There are
It's-
hundreds. Everybody.
They put us in novelty vehicle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so your chances of winning or bringing home an award pretty good.
Did we win anything this year?
We did
No.
not win anything this year. Well, we had some stiff competition. We were up against, it was a replica of, or was it actually the actual car?
That was the actual, well, none of them were, I don't
Are you
think.
sure?
Well, no, they didn't, I don't think the Barris cars weren't entered into that.
No, I'm not talking about that. You know, we were competing against the, if you're not first, you're last. Oh, I was high, Bobby, when I said that.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, the Chevelle.
Talladega Nights.
Talladega
Yes.
yeah.
Oh man, I was
Yeah,
I was having one of those moments there. And
No, but there was, my brain, I can't remember.
and the Dragula car. We were up against the Dragula
And the Monkeys car.
and the Monkeys car. Those were that was our competition, and so we didn't win. But that's okay. We didn't
No,
really
we
care
really
about
weren't
that.
there for that.
We won by having Hot Rod take pictures of the car and doing a write-up on Horse Force.
Yeah, so if you have a chance, Tim Burnstall's article, he did a great write-up on it, and you can find it on the Hot Rod Motor Trend page.
Yeah, you know
So-
what? I could probably put a link
Yeah.
in here that you can click on it and check out. So we'll-
And I hadn't met Tim before. It was really nice. We got to spend a lot of time. We got
Yeah.
to spend. He asked us questions about it. It was really.
Yeah.
He's a cool guy. It was nice to meet him.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun talking with him. And then, well, so the Autorama is like divided up into two sections. You've got your upstairs, which is got its own vibe, and then you've got the downstairs, which is a completely different vibe. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. But upstairs, you've got your swap meet. As we mentioned, they have the Barris cars this year, the Ed Roth cars. You also have got the Great 8 or the Riddler contenders.
There's more than 8. They first choose the 8, and
Yeah.
then they choose the actual winner. But they're I don't know whether are there 15 or. That's a jury. They only allow a certain amount. It can never be seen before.
Yeah, they
It
can't
has
do
to
any
be-
posts.
It has to be the first time the build's ever been seen by anyone. So they have lots of rules on that. It's got to be able to crank and drive, I think.
Drive, yeah.
But it doesn't, but yeah, I mean, there are some amazing, and we're talking $1 million plus cars, some 2 million, some more than that. So we're talking at the highest levels of automotive customization. It's not necessarily the thing that we're into. We're more into getting something that you can, you don't have to worry about rubbing your belt buckle against it, and you can hop in, or let we had a lot of kids that we let sit in the car, get
then
the
jump
picture
in.
made, and
Or,
you
hey,
can't do that with a Riddler car.
Look, and the fact is, we just drove it straight down Woodward
Yeah,
into
right.
the place, didn't wipe it down. I think, did I clean the windshield? I cleaned the windshield. That was it.
Right. Well, actually, no. We cleaned the windshield
Before we
left,
That's
and,
right.
and we stayed away from other cars, so we really didn't have to.
I didn't even wipe the windshield
didn't
off.
wipe it.
So that was really cool, on the tailpipes and the exhaust, it was, it had some.
Good old Detroit salt on there.
Yeah, so it was really, we don't like fussy stuff, and.
No, because
and-
that tends to own you more than you own it, and that's not.
Yeah.
To us, that's kind of the antithesis of what rodding is all about. Not to take anything away
No,
from
we
the
appreciate that, and I
craftsmanship,
enjoyed looking at them.
Yeah, they're really nice to look at.
Impressive, very,
but
obviously
the moment
impressive.
you drive it, it's no longer,
Ooh, well, I would be a nervous wreck driving
And
something
we've owned
like
cars
that.
that are
Yeah.
temperamental.
We've got one in there. It's, it's, I'm always a little bit nervous getting behind the wheel of it. But anyway, what was your favorite car upstairs?
Well, it's hard to pick a favorite oftentimes, but they had a De Tomaso Mangusta, which I'd never seen one in the flesh. I've always been a big fan. When I was a kid, I had models of the Pantera, which they also did, the De Tomaso Pantera. But they had a Mangusta there, which is the precursor, I believe, to the Pantera. And it has these beautiful clamshell, double opening engine cover in the back that opens like a butterfly. And it was just, I thought it was a beautiful car that I'd never seen one before.
Excellent in engineering, the nice big fat wide tires on the back, beautiful, absolutely beautiful car.
Yeah, what was your favorite?
I was really trying to think of that one. I'm kind of torn. They had a wonderful, just gorgeous 38 Hudson Coupe,
Yeah, I remember that car.
black,
The black one.
slammed down.
Yeah.
Fabulous. I mean, it was.
Yeah, and also they picked a car that you don't just see every day. I mean,
Yeah.
Not taking anything away from a 32 Highboy, but I mean, there's plenty of those that you've seen before at
Yeah.
shows.
Yeah.
And this was something that we hadn't seen before. That was a neat car. I remember that one.
So there's that one, and then there was the wide body Ford GT that was carbon fiber. That
We
was
talked to
kind
that
of.
guy. That was the M1 Concourse.
Yeah.
The guys that run that, which is if you've never seen that facility, it's pretty cool. you have the track right there, you buy paddock space, and you can just, it's your space. I mean, it's,
Yeah.
and it lets out right on the track, and you can drive your car.
Absolutely.
I mean, talk about supercar playground. I mean, that would be the ultimate if you ever.
Yeah.
You have the,
If
if you have the means, I highly suggest.
recommend.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. But, no, we're not there yet. Maybe one of these days.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway, so a couple of tips about Autorama, man. Its place is huge. It is ginormous.
We've been going for like 6 or 7 years.
Yeah, and you want to, if you're going to just do it in one day, make sure you've got some really good shoes on.
Yeah, it'll be a long day.
Yeah, it's going to be a long day. Be prepared to do a lot of stopping and talking.
We were walking 5 to 8 miles every day, I think.
Easy, yeah, easy. It's big. And then the food there inside the venue is not great, but
Well, I mean, it's just standard fare for show food,
yeah,
right?
it's not great. So anyway, what we always do is we always walk out.
We want to see,
Yeah.
Detroit,
Yeah.
drinking some Detroit,
Some of the local
yeah,
culture
some
there.
of the local cuisine,
Yeah,
and one of our favorites that we always go to is the, what's it called again?
well, it's not Great American.
No, that's the next door.
It's next door.
No, the
Lafayette.
yeah, Lafayette, that's right.
Lafayette, Cody's.
Cody's, yeah.
And, man, talk about great atmosphere.
You're stepping back 40 years in time,
Yeah.
50 years in time.
And
Everything is green tile, and the guy that's the main guy there, I mean, I think he's the main guy.
yeah, he said, well, when we asked him his name, he said,
Mr.
Lafayette.
That's what he told us.
One of my onions, a Norwegian one prize.
You know,
So that's what he
deadpan,
told
just really,
He was-
really great though. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
cool
a lot
guy,
of
but-
fun. Downstairs, like I was saying, it's got a different vibe to it. It's, I don't know, you're gonna see rat rods down there.
Yeah, the downstairs is almost more like they really want you to step back in time to when Autorama was in the 50s and 60s.
Yeah,
So it's more traditional rods. And of course, the term rat rod has been bandied about so much. You can call these traditional,
yeah,
and there are some rat rods that you see down there, and there's some kitsch, but for the most part, it's just a lot of great traditional iron that you don't get to see very often, and it's a whole different vibe. It's almost like 2 different shows in one.
yeah, it really is. One of my favorite cars down there, a buddy of ours, Chris Palmer, his car.
49 Fleet Line, I think it was.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's right. He did a really great job on it.
Great details.
It-
We like the details.
Yeah, and then, he was last minute. I mean, we can totally appreciate that, burning that midnight oil, trying to get everything to that finish line, and, we lit right on in there. So what was your favorite downstairs?
I'll probably have to agree with you on that. The other car was they had another one of the Barris cars down there, the bubble top, and I've always been a big fan of all those bubble tops. We're going to have to do a bubble top at some point.
Yeah,
And they had that one right on the end, and I'm sure we'll show a picture of it. But that one, that was an original, bubble top from the '60s, and I'd say that might be my favorite.
yeah, I think one of those was actually used in an episode of Star Trek.
Yeah, and I think that might be the one I'm
That's
talking
the
about.
one, yeah, okay, I
Yeah.
think so too. And there was that, speaking of bubble tops, there was somebody had taken a Porsche Boxster, right? And they had done some sort of,
Yeah, it was unique.
yeah. I mean, it was, I don't know, look, Porsche Boxster, right?
Boxster is like a grenade, a rolling grenade. I mean, the early ones especially. I mean, the later ones might have been better put together, but
But hey, they took the initiative to do a bubble top. I thought they did a pretty good job with it. The execution of it was
yeah.
interesting.
Speaking of bubble tops, I mean that's you can definitely go wrong really quickly if you don't pay attention to what you're doing. And they had a nice proportion of that car. Like I say, I'm not sure if it was the medium that I would have chosen for such a lot of work, but it was a lot of work what they did.
Yeah, absolutely it was. And we always mention the swap meet. You can find some really cool stuff at the
Over
swap
the years,
meets.
we've found some really good stuff. Of course, I always have to get a few 164 die cast. Just, I don't know, that's like catnip for me.
Yeah, and you found that that 3D printed.
A 3D printed first gen LS,
Yeah.
and I've got that sitting on my desk, and that is a really interesting piece because the level of detail, it had to come from GM, and so that was one of those that yeah, that's one of those cool finds that
Yeah.
you could only find it there. Someplace like
Right,
that.
yeah, and I got a really sweet jacket from there.
Vintage racing
Very-
type,
yeah,
racing crew
vintage.
type.
Yeah, so yeah, highly recommend that you stop at the swap meet. It's definitely worth it. You'll see some really cool stuff. And you'll see some car parts that you're going to have a hard time finding anywhere else. But yeah, as far as the Autorama, that's really about it in a nutshell. It's just a great show. Highly recommend that you go by there. And if you are up there for it, make sure you stop by the D lot and help the you can.
Yeah, so the thing about the Detroit show is that it's an old show. They've been doing it since maybe not quite as old as some of the ones that were started out on the West Coast, but just soon thereafter in the 50s,
Yeah.
right? And then the other thing about it is the Detroit heritage that gets piled in there with it is unmatched anywhere else. And then of course the level of cars that come, you get to see everything. You get to see everything from a high end at the highest end at the Riddler, and then everything down to traditional hot rods. So
Right, and then you
and all in one package, all in one place.
Right, yeah, and you'll even see our stuff there too.
Yeah, and our stuff as well. So that's a great reason to be there.
Yeah, and if you do exhibit there, don't get in a rush to get out. Just kind of take your time, relax. I know that's not easy to do. We always have to fight with that.
Yeah.
They have the awards ceremony right there at the end on Sunday evening, and typically we're trying to get out of there as quickly as we can.
But we had a safe trip home.
Yeah,
no
we did.
problems,
It was nice and smooth.
It was a good trip.
So anyway,
Highly recommend it.
yeah, hey,
2 thumbs way up.
yes, absolutely. And speaking of that, take a moment and go ahead and hit that like button. And also, if you haven't, please subscribe to us.
Please.